Have you ever watched a poker player with such a terrible hand that their desperation becomes written all over their face? Well, welcome to the Los Angeles Lakers 2025 offseason, where their need for a legitimate center has become so painfully obvious that every general manager in the NBA can smell blood in the water from miles away. This isn't just about basketball anymore. This is about pride, leverage, and whether one of the league's most storied franchises will get absolutely fleeced in their quest to salvage what's left of the LeBron James era. The smell of desperation in the air Rob Pelinka might as well have taken out a billboard on Sunset Boulevard advertising the Lakers' needs. In his postseason press conference, the Lakers GM practically begged the basketball gods for help, openly admitting that his team desperately needs a vertical threat, lob threat, and someone that could protect the interior defensively. When you're that transparent about your weaknesses, you've essentially handed every opposing negotiator a loaded weapon to use against you. The numbers tell the brutal story of why the Lakers are in this predicament. Their first-round playoff elimination at the hands of the Minnesota Timberwolves exposed every single flaw in their roster construction. They were out-muscled, out-rebounded, and completely dominated in the paint. Anthony Davis, despite his incredible talent, cannot be expected to carry the entire defensive load while also being the team's primary offensive weapon. The Lakers learned this lesson the hard way, and now they're scrambling to fix a problem that should have been addressed years ago. The Bam Adebayo pipe dream. Enter Bam Adebayo, the Miami Heat's defensive anchor and the Lakers' apparent white whale. According to Bovada's betting odds, Los Angeles sits as the favorites to land the 27-year-old All-Star at plus 190, which tells you everything you need to know about how desperately the Lakers want him. But here's where reality crashes into fantasy like a freight train hitting a brick wall. Adebayo represents everything the Lakers need: elite rim protection, switchability on defense, and enough offensive versatility to complement both LeBron James and Luka. His $37 million salary for the 2025-26 season seems almost reasonable when you consider his impact, but it's the extension that should terrify any potential suitor. Starting in 2026-27, Adebayo will earn an average of $55 million per year through 2028-29, turning him from a valuable asset into a potential financial albatross. The proposed package of Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, Maxi Kleber, and multiple first-round picks might sound reasonable on paper, but it's nowhere near enough to pry away Miami's homegrown superstar. Pat Riley didn't build the Heat culture by trading away players in their prime to help the Lakers solve their roster construction failures. The Athletic's Jovan Boha put it perfectly when he said, "I don't think Miami is doing that, because why would they? The Andrew Wiggins consolation prize, when you can't get the steak, sometimes you settle for hamburger." Enter Andrew Wiggins, the former Golden State Warriors wing who's now finding his groove in Miami. Lakers insider Anthony Irwin confirmed that Los Angeles has already reached out to the Heat about Wiggins, showing just how wide they're casting their net in search of solutions. Wiggins brings legitimate two-way ability, averaging 19.0 points for 0.2 rebounds, 3.3 assists, and 1.2 steals per game in his 17 appearances with Miami this season. He's not the defensive stopper he once was during his championship run with Golden State, but he's significantly better than Rui Hachimura on that end of the floor. The problem? His $28 million salary is a hefty price tag for a player who's essentially a luxury rather than a necessity. The Lakers' interest in Wiggins reveals their willingness to explore every possible avenue, even if it means making moves that don't directly address their most glaring need. It's the kind of sideways thinking that often leads to roster construction disasters, but when you're running out of options, sometimes sideways is the only direction available. The leverage problem here's where the Lakers' situation becomes truly fascinating from a strategic standpoint. Every general manager in the league knows exactly what Los Angeles needs, and more importantly, they know how badly the Lakers need it. A former NBA executive speaking to Anthony Irwin perfectly captured the predicament. The whole league knows that not only do the Lakers need a starting center and probably a backup, but they need to bring someone in who Luka is going to want to play with. This creates a negotiating nightmare for Pelinka and his front office. When everyone knows you're desperate, the asking price automatically increases. Teams that might have been willing to make reasonable deals suddenly start demanding premium packages because they understand the Lakers have limited alternatives. It's basic economics applied to basketball. When demand exceeds supply and the buyer's needs are transparent, sellers hold all the power. The situation becomes even more complex when you factor in the Lakers' limited trade assets. They don't have the draft capital of rebuilding teams, they don't have young prospects that other franchises covet, and their veteran contracts are either untradeable or barely movable. This leaves them in the uncomfortable position of potentially overpaying for players who might not even solve their fundamental problems. The championship window reality. Check. Perhaps the most sobering aspect of the Lakers' current situation is the ticking clock that hangs over every decision. LeBron James will turn 41 during the 2025-26 season, and while he continues to defy Father Time, even the greatest players eventually succumb to age. The Lakers are essentially trying to solve a complex roster puzzle while racing against biology itself. Luka at 26 represents the team's bridge to the future, but he also adds pressure to win immediately. Trading for a player like Doncic signals championship aspirations, not development patience. This creates an impossible balance where the Lakers need to acquire win-now talent, while also maintaining enough flexibility to build around their younger star for the long term. The financial implications of any major trade become magnified in this context. Committing significant money to aging veterans might provide short-term improvement, but it could also handicap the franchise's ability to build around Doncic once LeBron eventually retires. It's a high-stakes balancing act that requires perfect execution, something the Lakers haven't demonstrated consistently in recent years. The price of impatience, what makes the Lakers situation so compelling, is how it illustrates the dangers of impatience in NBA roster construction. Their current predicament stems from years of short-sighted moves, trading away assets for quick fixes that never quite worked out as planned. Now, they find themselves in the unenviable position of potentially repeating those same mistakes out of desperation. The smart play might be to accept a modest improvement rather than swinging for the fences on a trade that could mortgage their future. Players like Christian Wood or other available centers might not be sexy additions, but they could provide the basic rim protection and rebounding the Lakers desperately need without requiring massive financial commitments or trading away valuable assets. However, this is the Lakers we're talking about, a franchise built on star power and headline-grabbing moves. The pressure to make a splash, combined with the urgency created by LeBron's age, makes it unlikely that they'll settle for modest improvements when blockbuster trades remain theoretically possible. The verdict: desperation versus strategic patience. The Lakers find themselves at a crossroads that will define the remainder of LeBron's career and potentially the early years of the Doncic era. Their obvious desperation has created a seller's market where they hold very little leverage, but their championship aspirations demand significant roster upgrades. Whether they can navigate this treacherous landscape without making franchise-crippling mistakes remains to be seen. What's certain is that every conversation, every rumor, and every potential trade will be viewed through the lens of a team that everyone knows is desperate to win now. The basketball world is watching to see whether the Lakers can maintain their composure and make smart decisions, or if they'll panic and make the kind of desperation move that haunts franchises for years to come. Either way, this offseason promises to be one of the most crucial in recent Lakers history. What do you think the Lakers should do? Should they swing for the fences and try to land Bam Adebayo, or would they be better served making smaller moves and maintaining their flexibility? I'm genuinely curious about your perspective on whether desperation leads to championship glory or franchise disaster. So drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's get this debate started. And hey, if you're enjoying this deep dive into NBA drama, smash that like button and stick around. There's plenty more trade chaos coming your way this offseason.